Hello. Hello. How are you doing? Well, thanks for stopping by again. I sure appreciate it. I'm Bentley Craig, and this is Things Thought on Circle Drive, and I'm coming to you live from the very tip top of Crawford Mountain. And up here on top of the world, I get a different perspective. And I get a different view. My vantage point's different than most everybody else's. And oh my. Looks like we're going to be in lockdown in America till the end of April. And that's too bad. Because I had some really good coupons for Kentucky Fried Chicken that didn't start until April, and I thought I was only going to be locked down till the 15th of April. Now it's the 30th. They don't want us moving around. I guess the only way to infect people is to be around people. And the only way to get infected is to be around where people have been. Touched things they touched, coughed on, sneezed on, wiped a booger on. And stick your fingers in your mouth or your eyeball, or lick it. There's always a crisis for the world to take in and roll around in the brain, wonder what about it. It's easy to forget some of it or not worry about it when something's happening on the other side of the world. And being on lockdown, I don't really get to see much of anything. But some people aren't being locked down. Some people are doing whatever they want to do, whether they're essential or not. The government wants you to tell on them. Of course, I haven't heard that. I've heard media people say that. I've heard conspiracy people say that. But to be honest with you, I haven't heard Trump say, hey, if you see your neighbors got a party, more than 10 people, give us a call. Yeah, they got a 311. Isn't that crazy? 311. Tell on your fellow neighbors, your family. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Tattletelling about somebody, and unless they're murdering someone or doing some really creepy stuff, which, I don't know. I don't watch my neighbors that much to know what they're doing. I don't stare out my window and eyeball And look, I don't spend a lot of time out in the front yard where the driveway is in the street. Walk out to the mailbox, throw up a hand at my neighbors when I see them. They call me by my name, I call them by their name. And that's it. You know, sometimes they unlock my door or I'll unlock theirs. You know, we all kind of got keys hidden away in case somebody's something. You never know. You never know. But we got till the 30th of April. Now, honestly, it seems that they could keep pushing that date further and further and further away from today. Is there something going on? Or are these really for our benefit? Now, of course, I don't know anybody that's got the China virus. I don't know anybody personally. But, you know, I just don't know what to think. Now, I haven't talked to everybody I know. I haven't heard about everybody they know. I haven't been in a hospital, but I know people that work in hospitals and they don't have a lot of coronavirus going on in their hospitals, but they're worried, they're scared to death, they're afraid to be breathed on, coughed on, touched by another human being. Us human beings, I think we're meant to be together. I think we work better as a pact or a community. But some of us need that, some of us don't. There's so many different types of people in the world. There's good people. We don't hear a lot about them. There's bad people that have bad intentions. And those people, they get to rise up the ranks of things in the real world. They're not all lurking and hiding in a dark alley. They're not all hiding underneath your bed. They're not all hiding behind a tree. Those narcissistic psychos are people that we know and work with and work for. And you know, for the unfortunate people who end up marrying a narcissistic psychopath, wow, I feel for you. I feel for you. The way that they can steal someone's life away from them, make them feel like it's their fault, that they're inadequate. seems to happen to women. Women seem to be married to some guy that does that kind of stuff. Now, I know women can be the same way. It's not like men have well, we do have the numbers on a lot of those. But we're not the only ones that can do that. Men and women and the 60 other genders that are out there today. See, and it's like to me, when I hear someone tell me that there's more genders than just a male and a female, I kind of look at that person as a narcissistic, sociopath. Be like, look, we're either born with one of these, or we're born with one of those. Or what I like to call, you're either born with an innie or an outie. What you choose to do with them is up to you. But to try to convince me otherwise is ridiculous. But hey, I live in America. Everybody's got rights. And no matter what one of the 60 genders you are, you still only got an innie or an outie. So let's not forget that. And they end up being sociopaths. And they end up committing suicide a lot higher than other people. But then again, there's people that's stuck at home with someone. I personally know a few women who's tolerated that kind of treatment at the house for whatever reason. I've known a few that got out of it. Some of them it took over 25 years of an abusive relationship. You know, and until I knew any better, those guys always seemed kind of nice to me. Really cool. But that's just what they want us to see. So I'm always wondering about the people that I think that are really cool. There's a lot of great pretenders out there. There's such great pretenders, they can even make you think that their pretend world and their pretend brain and thinking is real. Convince you. I feel for those people. You know, I wouldn't say that they're weak-minded or stupid. That's what those people do, is take advantage of people. You know, they groom you. And I sometimes compare today's news to being in one of those relationships. We're just totally, you know, we're not doing anything right in America. Nothing at all. White people are bad, black people are bad. If you're American, you're bad. You're just bad. You pollute everything, you eat everything. We're not told in this media how good we are. All of our leaders are bad. You know, I say that. I'm part of that little clique. But we get hurt, and it's hard to see the good in the world. Those people we see on TV, they are minuscule. Man, there's probably like tops 5,000 people in the whole wide world that I've seen doing things on TV, and politicians, and not a lot of them. It's been the same players. You know, Nancy Pelosi, she's been around for years. Years. So's Trump. I mean, I've been hearing about Trump since I was born, pretty much. I can't remember a time in my life that I didn't know who Donald Trump is. But those people aren't the majority of us. Statistically, they are not really even a minority of us. But yet, we give those people power over us somehow. And we believe them when they tell us that we're bad, that we need to watch what we do, don't drive so you need to wear a seatbelt, don't you know any better? You need to stop at that red light at 4 o'clock in the morning and there's no traffic for miles on either direction. You're supposed to sit there till that damn thing turns green. You better. I've always told people, be an adult. That was always my favorite answer to people when I did something that they didn't like. I did something they told me not to do. They're like, what makes you think you can do that? I'm like, I'm an adult. I'm an adult. I don't have to listen to you. I don't really have to listen to my parents. I don't have to listen to anybody. But, of course I listen to my parents. But I did make a rule early on in my life that the only two people that was allowed to yell at me was my mom or my dad. And that was it. Now there was other people in my life, like my grandmother, my mama. I didn't want her yelling at me. I didn't want to do anything around that woman that would make her yell at me. Because if she was yelling at me, that means I'd screwed up, I'd done something wrong, and that would embarrass me. I didn't really care with my parents, I guess, but they yelled at each other a lot. You know, that's a different thing too. That disturbs a lot of kids. But somehow I worked it out. I just didn't take it from other people. And you don't have to take things from other people. It may cost you a job. And I've lost a few jobs. I don't mind. But I always try to do the right thing. And I hope we're in a time right now where I'm just not letting these people yell at me for no reason. And if other people want to go out and get sick and die, I'm all for that. Let them. They're an adult. I've always said, if somebody wants to smoke crack, if they're an adult, It ain't none of your business what they're doing. When did this become a place where I have to listen to somebody else's opinion about how I should live? Why? Why is it wrong? I don't know. I think that's real freedom. That's real liberty. If somebody wants to kill themselves doing drugs, maybe that's not their intentions. But I've watched it. I've watched people, most of them die. Most every one of them end up dying. Well, I had just a little bit of a break there, just for a second. Something come up and I had to step off real quick. You know what? Sometimes that happens. Well, just for my own thing, let's see. This is Things Dot on Circle Drive. I'm Bentley Craig, and I'm coming to you live from the very tip top of Crawford Mountain. Well, so what do you think? Right. So, with all these crazy people in charge of things, politicians, my experts, like the World Health Organization, the WHO. Who? You know, I don't even want to say the guy's name. He's he used to be from Ethiopia, and he was in charge of their health organization in Ethiopia at one point for many years. And a lot of people starved to death. A lot of people went unhelped with that man in charge. And now he's the leader of the World Health Organization. Isn't that crazy? Now you got Anthony Fauci, who's the guy's heading the COVID-19 China virus, and listening to him recently praising the guy, said he's known him forever, for a long time, something like that. He's a good guy, blah blah blah. And then he was just like, this guy's a creep. That Anthony Fauci, in my opinion, is shady. And so is the WHO. Just that's my opinion. That Anthony Fauci, he's the guy, when AIDS come along many moons ago, he was the guy that was in charge of it when it first started out. And they're still begging for money and talking about how bad the program failed. Now, he's not over there now, other people. Well, those are our experts. And I'm supposed to listen to them. You're supposed to take their advice too. That just is, how do these nut jobs make it to where they made it? How do we not get that job? Even I know better than some of those guys. I mean, I'm not a medical person, but if they was like, hey, you been to Craig? I'd be like, yeah. And they're like, well, we got this new thing. I need you to look into it, see what you can do. It's killing a bunch of gay guys right now, but it can get anybody, but right now it's just gay guys. I'm like, yeah. And I would have went and found me some experts and we'd have fixed that stuff. But not the experts that are in charge of things, you know, the experts that work with those and not have an agenda. These people have agendas, and then I think everybody in there is blackmailed by someone. You know, some of those conspiracy theories tells you that these clubs that these people join, they always got to tell their deepest, darkest secrets, so they have something on you. I mean, you know theirs too. You know, I guess I got a few secrets. I wouldn't want anybody hearing about it, but I'll tell you what, if you heard some of my secrets, I guess you wouldn't puke or want to lock my ass away for 1,000,000 years. You know, we all got secrets. You know, I talk about my mama. I was talking about a girl I was involved with at the time, keeping secrets from me. They weren't horrible or anything like that, but I was offended. And then my mama told me, you know, you gotta let a woman have her secrets. But I think all of us need to have our little secrets. You know, it's nice knowing not everybody knows everything about you. People like look at you and go, I know you. You're like, no you don't. But, you know, I know my listeners, you've got secrets. You know, and I'm sure they're just something that would be embarrassing. Wouldn't necessarily go to jail. You might have back at the time. But not now. So our experts. Of course, there's people that work there for the CDC. There's people like you and me, the layman, working there, doing the work. But then, you know, you've worked at places where your work gets, you know, somebody else gets the credit or something. They change things. They got their own way of micro terrorizing you. There's people that do that. Pardon me. That coffee went down wrong. I can't stop drinking it. Yeah, micro narcissists. These people just, you know, little nicks and picks just to get at you. Remind you that they're the boss and you're not. I'm sure they probably got a more technical name for that, but what about this? So we stay at home because we're getting advice from completely and utterly loony-toony people. Like either one of those people, if I was a superhero in disguise, I'd slap the face off both of those guys. There's no way I'd let them walk into a room full of kids and help them. That guy at the World Health Organization, he did some really shady things. And it's okay, they put him in charge, because that's how, those are the type of people get in charge. That's just my opinion, of course. But the media doesn't talk about stuff like that. And I don't know why. They have their own agenda too. The media is just the space in between the actual moneymaker, commercials. And we are the product. So how about that? I love experts. Yeah. Speaking of experts, I was listening to an expert on a podcast. There's some pretty unique and out of the way thinking going on there. But he was saying that viruses come from outer space. There's a better chance of it coming from outer space than here on Earth. And viruses, sometimes they change DNA and things like that, or that's what they do. Kind of like a universal tool, like all of it. Life just come from out there in the universe. Oh my. Some of that homegrown coffee, if you know what I mean. And that homegrown coffee, it kind of goes along with thinking about outer space and the universe, nebulas and pulsars, black holes, galaxies. Well, at least in my world, those are out there. Most flat earthers will tell you that that's not out there. But this expert, astronomer, math guy, Chandra something, he was pretty compelling. He says it's a fact that there's micro viruses and things like that in our, what he said, something about 40 kilometers up there, about 20 miles. And they even brought up, I remember seeing it and I was wondering about it, but there was like some kind of microbe stuff growing on the windows at the International Space Station. And if you're a flat earther, I know you also believe that the space station doesn't exist, but I do. And I don't know why. These are the same experts. What I pick and choose my experts of who I want to believe. Well, I've spent too much time looking at the stars through telescopes and binoculars and tracking them and watching satellites and comets and things like that, then I'm pretty convinced that there's an outer space. And I'm pretty convinced the Earth is round also. But I guess that's just my opinion. But just like, me being a Jesus guy, he's my opinion. I ain't out to prove that Jesus is real. I mean, I just tell him, well, you can read about him. Other people wrote about him. Oh, no, they didn't. That's all made up stuff. It's forgeries. Or when you don't want to believe, you always got an answer to back that up. But I really don't have an answer for like the guys that are in charge. But we tell your average person something like I'm seeing on my show on Things Thought, they definitely wonder what kind of coffee I've been drinking. So the universe just kind of makes life everywhere. It's life in the clouds, dust clouds in space. And there's quite a bit of them. I always wondered about the dust clouds. Like when you go out and you look and you can see what I call the Milky Way, or what looks like I call it the backbone of the night. We see a bunch of stars that are bright, kind of all together, clustered. It's usually you got to look up for it, and but just at different times of year, at different places. Anyway, when you can actually get in a good spot and see that, you'll notice some darker spots that you can't see, but all these other ones. Well, those dark spots, even though you're looking at a dark night, you can tell it's a little darker. There's actually dust clouds in that view. And they're huge, and we can't see what's just on the other side of them. I always wondered if there was just something spectacular on the other side of those clouds. Just some kind of crazy other place. If you could look up with a telescope, you'd see something. You could look out and see Eat at Joe's. That'd be funny. So, who are the people in charge? Who are my experts? This expert says viruses come from outer space. They're up in our atmosphere. And they fall at like 3 tons a day on us, all over the planet. It's like it's because, and I'm going to have to fact check this, but this expert said it, but like during the 1918, the Spanish flu thing, he said isolated villages in Alaska caught it, and they got it really bad. There was supposedly nobody coming in or out. I'm like, well, the Ockman's razor kind of solution to that is, as well, obviously somebody got in. Something did. If it wasn't somebody, it could have been the freaking blankets. But I will have to look into that, because any of the other places that I heard about that were isolated, they had 0 cases. Now, if it was falling on us from space, it should have got those people too. And these were like somewhere like off the coast. I don't want to say Alcatraz, but some kind of island off the coast of California. Specifically, and a bunch of little towns all across America did the same thing. They just met you out at the end of town with one road or all the different, if you got hardly any roads to get in and out, it's easy to shut things down. And they stayed out there for a couple weeks, and then that was it. They were cool. And nobody in those towns died or got it. So if it was coming from outer space, you think of everybody, everywhere. Whether if you stayed indoors, you would literally have to stay indoors. If you just went out, and me, I'm a couple hours out of the day, I'm out back cleaning the dog poop out of the yard, picking up stuff, straightening up, cleaning out the pool. Got an above ground pool. Keeping it nice and clean. I like that. It's easy. They're cool. And then plus, you got a bunch of water. That's better than a bathtub, trust me. In case something bad happens. And whether or not the Big Bang happened, that's crazy. So, but on this theory, though, the universe should just be teeming, ate up with life. All over the place. And that our junk DNA, if we just happen to went somewhere else to a different planet, like the one they discovered not too long ago, if you go to some planet like, say, Jupiter, maybe your junk DNA would kick in and you'd be able to breathe or grow something on your body to make you a viable creature on Jupiter. There's a bunch of our DNA that doesn't do anything they think. But this doctor, he was thinking that was kind of possible. That's pretty neat. Can our DNA change? Well, yep. Those viruses do it. I don't know if bacteria does it. This is all kind of new to me. I usually don't have this kind of time to sit around and just think about this stuff. I'd rather think about how to get a job done. How to fix something that's broke. Or something needs fixing. And I remember when I was in the military, there was a saying, if it ain't broke, fix it until it is. Yeah. And of course, hurry up and wait. But if it ain't broke, fix it until it is. And they kind of meant that. How are our leaders? The pretenders. They pretend they're like we are. They try to convince us that they're like you and me. Me? I'm a little nutty. You probably are too. So, there you go. I don't know. I like being, the old, also some of the easy thing is, God created it. I love being around the educated people sometimes, ones that know it all, and sit in their little circle and converse with them for a while. And then just show them how much I do not know by telling them I believe in God, that I believe in Jesus. I'm like, oh yeah, I believe he walked on water. And they're like, do you believe everything literally? And I was like, well, maybe I'll read a little different than you, but yeah, I guess, you want to put my feet under the fire or on fire. Yeah, I kind of take it literally. And they're like, well, do you stone your wife or kids? And I'm like, well, Jesus didn't say to go stone anybody. I don't know where you're getting your information from. Jesus didn't tell me to single anybody out and beat their behind. But it's not like Jesus didn't have an attitude. He did get angry. And he must have really got a little pissy because he was in, Jerusalem? Is that right? Maybe. Don't quote me on that. When he went off on the money lender type of fellas in the temples. Yeah, he got a little pissy now. He did get angry. So, if Jesus can get angry, I guess I can. Though, I am gonna go tear up a bunch of bankers' stuff at the church. Of course, it could all been lost in translation on me, but that's kind of how I see it. He walked in, saw him sell things, loan things, doing a little shady stuff for money around the temple, and that's just not a nice thing. But Romans, they're a little different than the rest of us in those days, 2,000 years ago. I don't think he wanted us to get beat on and harassed. He had some advice for about everything. I can't go into it right now, but I can probably find it if pressed. There's only so many red words in the Bible. Always wanted just the red words. I started writing those down years ago. Just the red words. Out of the King James Version. And I talked about it before, but suffer it to be so now is the very first part of a sentence, I guess, and Jesus saying. But yeah, and I lost that somewhere. I started another one though. I was kind of slacking. But hey, it's okay. But I like the red words in the Bible. Always like what was the WWJD? What would Jesus do? I also like what would Scooby do? Also. Scooby would probably run. I don't know about you. Sometimes you gotta run. I got some Scottish in me, so sometimes I gotta stand and fight. Not much on the running. The running is an option. And I have ran, actually. That was very smart. I was definitely outnumbered. How about you? You ever had to stand and fight? Protect yourself? It's okay. It's okay. I think protecting yourself is smart. I highly advise it, especially women. Get a gun, honey. Keep a gun and don't take no crap from no man. And if that happens, it's a tough thing. I've known women that did it and they just keep it up, getting their asses beat. Well, it's okay. Okie dokie. Don't forget to breathe. Oh, and just so you know, you can hear this podcast on whatever you're listening to right now. And you can listen to this podcast at the Fringe Radio Network.com. Brought to you by our guy Johnny McMahon, my hero. You know, FringeRadioNetwork.com is an awesome place, man. They got all kinds of podcasts, a gamut, a symphony of podcasts by great people. I need to get a list of those so I can talk about them, because there's a bunch of them on there you can find. Oh yeah. I ought to get him talked into throwing out a retro Dr. Future podcasts. And if you're out there listening, need something to listen to right now, find the Dr. Future. It's a futurequake.com. But the podcast Future Quake with Dr. Future and Tom Bionic. Start at the end or the beginning of it. And they'll blow your mind. And I wouldn't be offended if you go and listen to all 300 episodes of him and Tom and all kinds of different guests over the years, and then come back and start listening to me. I would highly recommend that. Brilliant, intuitive fellas. And they run the gamut of all kinds of stuff, and you'd be surprised how much everyday things are intertwined with religion for you. Yeah. Future Quake. Check that out. Go back and check out the Iron Show too. It's on the Fringe Radio Network.com. Punch in the Iron Show, and I highly recommend him and Mark, I think, or Rabbi Mike, I can't remember. It was Johnny and somebody else that knew a lot about fear. And it's a 5-part series on fear. And it's with Johnny McMahon. Yeah. You can hear this on Anchor.fm. I highly recommend you going there and starting your own podcast. And then let me know if you do. That would be really cool. And also, I just want to let you know I love you. And that you are a very rare, very, very rare creature. That's right. You are a creation. You're unique. And no matter what you think, I love you. We've never got to bump fists and say hi, but I know you're out there. I know there's people listening to me. You're all over the world, and that's cool. And I hope you're part of the world. You're safe. You're sound. If you're in an area that's been ate up with the coronavirus, holler at me. Let me know. But I've just been hanging in. So maybe I'm missing something. Maybe if I walk out and hang out at the movie theater, there'll be all kinds of, oh, that's right, there ain't nobody there. Yeah, around here, there's not a lot of open. But you know, and plus I live at the top of the Crawford Mountain. Oh yeah! But you are a very rare creature. A very rare creation. See, yeah, that doctor, he thinks that life is everywhere out in the universe. But I have always kind of believed, or I'm all in, I guess, that the whole universe is here. So just us right here on Earth can be here. The whole universe has to be where it is. The Big Dipper stars, they have to be right there. Andromeda Galaxy, it has to be right there. All the galaxies out there, they all have to be out there with all their little black holes and their stars and their supernovas and their nebulas and their quasars. All that everywhere has to be where it is, so we, the rarest thing in the universe, can be here. That's kind of my belief. It don't really say that in the Bible. I may have inferred to conclusion on that. But yeah, just imagine the universe as being kind of like what is it, the gears and the gizmo in a fine watch. All of them have to be there to make those hands move, and so we can see what time it is. Take one of those away and it don't work. But you put the universe where it is and everything that's in it, and then you get us. That's just my opinion. That's my working theory. Because everybody else has got their theory. Ain't none of it proven. But I'll tell you, the earth is round. That's proved. And there is pictures. Well, I think there is, but some people think they're all photoshopped. But life is plagiarism. How about that? I love you. I'm Bentley Craig. And this is the Things Thought on Circle Drive. Coming to you live from the very tip top of Crawford Mountain. And I guess until next time, I'll see you then.